Just reading the comments here. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all on the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment. You have to click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. I can sense there's a little bit of excitement. There's a little bit of excitement in the market with a little bit of green. But actually, in all seriousness, we're going to get into the charts here in a moment. The little bit of green we are seeing in the market has the potential. It has the potential, and I'll get into why, to be the most bullish price action that we have seen on Bitcoin and crypto since June, July of this year. And I will get into why that is. Welcome in, everybody. Kathleen is back. Welcome in. Where you been at, Kathleen? DJ Netronic, as always, introducing robots to the baby, which is always a great idea. Let's get that AI started early. Good morning, DT. Greg. Kyle. Let's fucking go. YC, welcoming. Always good to see you here. You're very consistent in showing up for the live stream. What's cooking, brother? Actually, I already ate, so nothing is cooking. Oh, God. Old man jokes. The move is getting retraced due to... No. The move is getting retraced because of the chart. We'll take a look at it. Welcome in, guys. I have some news. I have some really... Wanted to kick off the live stream with some really positive news that I'm really excited to share with you guys. As you know, if you were on this live stream on Tuesday, you know that I had a buddy of mine who, from the gym, who was not in good health condition. And I didn't share this on the live stream yesterday, but I called the hospital where I confirmed with his wife that he was taken. And did come to find out that he was in intensive care. Decided not to go over yesterday. Decided it was a pretty serious situation. Just wanted to let the family be there for him. But ultimately did go over this morning. And literally, by God's graces, this man was awake and functioning. And in short, he completely flatlined. And it was... not my words, the doctor's words, the nurse's words. It was a miracle that this man was alive. 5% or less probability that in that situation, that's the number I was quoted, 5% or less probability this man was going to be alive. I was actually in the visitation when I visited him. His wife was there. I was there for a good 30, 40 minutes. And a nurse walked by and she stopped in and she looked like she was completely baffled by the situation. She had seen Jim come into the hospital in the condition that he was in, and she was blown away that he was functioning. The fact that his brain was not seemingly damaged, they've done all sorts of tests on him. He was talking. He was in a little bit of, he was in some pain. He has suffered some, when he fell, I guess he cracked a rib or two, but so I was trying to hold back from... I felt bad when I was making him laugh. I was cracking some jokes, and when he would laugh really hard, he was like, "Oh, that hurts." But he's doing well. So he's going to be in ICU for a week. So I told him I'd be checking up on him, checking in on him over the course of the next week. But I was just really excited to see that. I was really excited to see he was doing well, because I can't... I was pretty straight with them, him and his wife, when I saw them. I said it was... when you were taken out, it was a dire situation. Didn't know that you would make it. So very good to hear. Very, very good to hear. So that's the first bit of, that's the biggest news I could share with you guys. The other piece of information before I get to your chats and we get into the charts here, I actually met with someone who I would say, or an organization who I would say is fairly prominent in the crypto space, and I had a really, really good meeting, and I'm hoping that there are some really positive things to come moving down the road. Very, very early discussions, but some real positive things to come there. I had a really good initial meeting. It was only 30 minutes, not enough time to make strong headway on a lot of my questions that I had, but I felt that the meeting overall went well. in terms of getting a level of comfort for each other, who I am as a person, who they are, seem like very genuine, authentic people. So more to come there, but had a good meeting with some organization in the crypto space. Let's get to the comments here. EOS, we can take a look at EOS then. I know that wasn't holding up too well. Oof! LFG, brother. I can't say the F word too much because they're gonna demonetize me. Jim! You damn right. Jim is doing well. Jim is doing well. So he doesn't know that I have a YouTube channel. Maybe I'll pass along the fact that everyone wishes him well. Well, oof, I appreciate that, but the way I look at it is I did what anyone hopefully in my situation would have done, which was to act quickly. But ultimately, all of the credit goes to the EMTs. It goes to the EMTs for doing what they needed to do to save his life. They were on the ground for a while doing CPR on him. It was, all the credit goes to the EMT. DJ Netronic with the baby. No, let me put this out there right now, okay? Now I know this is in gist, but let me put this out there right now. I am not partnering with Ben Armstrong, and I have no interest in partnering with Ben Armstrong. Let me just put that out there. Let me be straight about that. YC, get credible crypto and BC backer on the show. I would love to have credible crypto on the show. I'm not, I don't follow BC Backer's work, but credible crypto I would love to have on the show. So if there's an opportunity for him to come on, there's a guy who seems very authentic and whose TA I appreciate. So that would be an awesome opportunity if I could get him to come on the show. We can take a look at comp track. Welcome in. My bell. I need to fix my bell. Kayleen, very glad to hear about Jim. Yes, I got to tell you. And the other thing to bring up about that situation, another thing that you guys don't know that personal side to me. I'm actually a pretty emotional, sensitive person, but it nearly brought a tear to my eye. His wife, I got to tell you, he's got a really strong wife. She's been through some things that personal things I'm not going to go into that she shared with me, but they are a family of strong faith, and we're not going to get into a religious conversation, but it was really good to hear that they're a family of strong faith, so they're gonna see this through, and it was really good to see. I was really happy about it. So clearly, all right. Look, let's get into the charts because that's why we're all here, right? So at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to evaluate the price action every day at this point and really ask the question whether or not there's strength coming back into the market. Now, this is the first time since early June, late June / early July that we've seen this much information. That's the way to put it. This much information in the charts that leaves us cautiously optimistic that we're going to see some follow through. Why do I say that? Well, if we look at the 12-hour, let's look at the price indicators actually first. Let's go in reverse order. Let's look at the price indicators and see the fact that RSI hasn't broken down. We've just continued to see strength building in this RSI. Look at the MACD. Now, we had this negative cross down, right? We're starting to see, if we close in on the MACD, and we're just going to focus on these two price indicators, look at the histogram picking up and the fact that we have a cross right here on the MACD, okay? So what this is telling us from a price indicator perspective is there's reason to believe on this shorter time frame, this lower time frame, on the 12-hour chart that momentum is beginning to pick up. But what's the key thing in this chart that I've honed in on. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm speaking to. I think it's the only chart that I tweeted out today. We'll get into the daily. Downward resistance, right? What have I commented on every single live stream? You can feel emotionally however you want about crypto and Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, this chart does absolutely nothing to convince me that we're going to see a turnaround until the first step is breaking downward resistance. This candle body is set to close above downward resistance on the 12-hour chart. Ding, ding, ding. That is an indicator that we are starting to see some strength coming into the chart. Now, we need to see follow through. It's not good enough to see on a 12-hour chart a break above here. We need to see the second candlestick body. We can wick in here. Candle body remain above descending resistance, right? We need that confirmation. The way we get confirmation is the second candlestick. Now, if we go to the daily, this is actually a more important chart in my opinion. This is the daily, okay? We are starting to see some significant follow through. Again, guys, I'm not going to give you the fluff and the BS that a lot of other content creators give you to sort of feed your unconscious desire to hear what you want to hear. I'm sharing with you what I'm seeing in the charts. And what I'm seeing in the charts, again, look at the RSI increasing in value. Look at this MACD beginning to pick up. One of the things that I commented on throughout the week, okay, constantly looking like a weather forecaster doing this, all right? Just need the weather girl. Constantly, I've told you throughout the week, we were seeing a decline. If we just focus in on the MACD, look at the way the histogram, okay, was declining in momentum. See, declining. And the MACD was the blue line beginning to decrease. All of a sudden, we got this bullish impulse here, right? Which has significantly improved our view on the MACD. Now, let's focus on price action. What are we seeing on price action? It's very evident based on this chart, we're starting to break through descending resistance, right? You can clearly see this on this chart. I don't need to spell this out. Plus, we're breaking above the 50 simple moving average. Remember, we broke below the 50 simple moving average all the way back here, technically, in July, the end of July, okay? We temporarily got, look what happened here. This is a good case in point of what I want to point to here. Now, this ended up being a daily candlestick that closed above the 50 simple moving average. But this is the second candlestick, okay? The preceding candlestick. This is where we get confirmation. We didn't get confirmation. We closed below the 50, weakness in the price, right? So right now, what I'm trying to share with you is that, yes, this is the most bullish momentum that we've seen in price since late June, early July. Because we're breaking resistance, we're breaking the 50 simple moving average. We need confirmation tomorrow. Fridays are typically good days, right? For all of us that are still doing the 9 to 5, we love Fridays. Fridays are the best day of the week, right? So we want tomorrow to line up with the excitement that we have the weekend to enjoy ourselves a little bit, all right? We want the crypto markets to come in bullish tomorrow. We don't need a monumentally bullish day tomorrow, but what we'd like to do, I will give you the price level that we want to see, because it looks like more than likely we're going to close out above here. We still have 2 hours and 10 minutes, but today we need to see prices close at or above roughly 26,870, all right? So we need prices to close at 26,870, and we're right now at 27,018. Tomorrow, we need prices to close at or above 26,800. 26,800. So we got 26,870 today, 26,800 tomorrow. All right? If we, because I'm feeling extremely optimistic, we're going to get the bullish close here above descending resistance. If tomorrow, and I should be here tomorrow, okay, especially because I'm not making any plans tomorrow. I have plans on Saturday, but I'm not making any plans tomorrow, so I should be able to live stream tomorrow. We'll evaluate this tomorrow, but if we get this close above 26,800 tomorrow, there is reason to be I would say, I choose my words carefully. Just as a person, that's how I tend to be. I really choose my words carefully when I speak. We have every reason tomorrow, if we close at or above 26,800, to be very cautiously optimistic. The other thing that's interesting about the price action that's coming in today, and this is something that I'll either publish a video on or we'll take a look at it next week, because we're getting this bullish momentum coming in the latter part of September, what do you think that's going to do for the monthly candlestick in September? We're starting to get price action close. Look, think about it this way. September is just one candlestick, right? But it is comprised, okay? It's comprised of all of this price action. All of this price action here, well, actually, let me redraw that. All of the price action right here, okay, comprises one candlestick, right? So if we were to close, so what I'm saying is if we were to close, if we had some, bearish momentum to finish the month and we close down here, we're going to have a red candlestick in September. But if we start pushing up here, that candlestick that's going to close for September, which is a higher time frame, which is much, much, much more important from a macro perspective over a 12-hour daily chart, if we're closing higher on that candlestick, that is a lot more bullish for everybody in crypto that's been waiting to see some significant upside. Guys, let's level set the conversation here, right? There's really been no reason to get excited about crypto. If we're having an honest conversation, there has been no excitement, no reason to be really get excited since this price action here. And this price action took place between January and April, right? We've been pretty much sitting on our hands, waiting for some sort of significant development to come into this market since literally April, right? And I've been the first to tell you and acknowledge from a timing perspective, look, I've been wrong. I thought, if we look at a weekly, I thought we would have been up in this area by now, between 35 and 43, even as high maybe as 48. I think I had said 48. So we would have at least touched the 48 level, but we really would have been consolidating in this area. I would have been fine under 40, but basically above 35.5 is really what I thought we would have seen by now. So from a timing perspective, I've been incorrect, right? So we've been waiting literally for almost 6 months, 5.5 months for some significant price action to come in. If we can get a bullish close for the month of September, it is going to set us up, and we'll evaluate the charts at that point. It's going to set us up for a bullish fourth quarter of this year. Ignore the mainstream news narrative. If the mainstream news narrative ended up being correct, all of us would, again, like I said yesterday, I'd already own my island. All of us. We'd all own islands. We'd all have a beautiful wife and a dog. That's my dream. Beautiful wife and a dog, right? We'd all have those things. We'd all own islands and we'd be drinking margaritas. Sounds like a pretty nice life, actually. I'm going to be honest. Sounds like a pretty nice life. Margaritas, you got a sexy woman on your side, you got a dog, you got a few condos, Your family visits like twice a year. You want that shit to yourself. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is most people are not highly successful in the market. And the reason most people are not highly successful in the market is because what they do is they follow what the majority of people believe. All right? It really pays off to be a contrarian oftentimes, okay? So do not, I've been saying this since I've ever published a video on YouTube. Don't follow the news narrative. I'm never going to give you financial advice. I'm offering you a little bit of life advice right now if you want to increase your likelihood of being successful in this market. Let's see what we got in the comments here. Really profound statement there, actually, DJ. I'm a little impressed. Information existed before the universe. God is the best explanation. I'm very impressed by that statement. We need to get above that 50 SMA. Just spoke to it. Yes, sir. Oh, DJ, you know better than to ask me this question. Do I like the Williams alligator indicator? Sir, you have not been here for live streams then, when I've covered that ad nauseum. I also have a video, one or two videos, talking to the Williams alligator. Go back to my published videos on Bitcoin, and I'll save my energy speaking to it. But yes, I highly value it. Bitcoin options expire tomorrow. I did not know that. I don't really track options, so thank you for pointing that out. Rocktober. I like the way that sounds. It's typically called October. I don't. So let's have an honest conversation in terms of all-time highs, right? Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate you always being the enforcer. Let's have an honest conversation regarding what we could anticipate for fourth quarter. I have come out here at this point and said this. Remember, I haven't changed my stance. I've had two hypotheses, right? One was, and both, by the way, coincide with the idea that we have a fifth wave in the broader Elliott wave structure, and we're going to top in Bitcoin and crypto much sooner than most people think. I don't think this 4-year cycle theory is going to play out. So the two theories, or the two hypotheses, were Bitcoin blow off top 2023, Bitcoin blow off top around the halving, going into the halving, maybe it's a little after the halving, but right around the halving, okay? Let me just say that hypothesis one is not correct. I do not see the fourth quarter, no matter how bullish we close this month, I do not see an all-time high, a blow off top, I should say, coming in the fourth quarter. Is there a chance that we could see an all-time high in the fourth quarter? I think there's a probability. There's certainly a probability for it, but I'm extremely skeptical that we're going to see a new all-time high, Bitcoin above 70,000 by December 31st. I would be shocked if that happened. I do not see that happening. But what is very on the table, and what I still feel very convicted to, is that we are going to see an all-time high much sooner than people think. And I think if you're looking at that first half of next year, whether it's March, April, May, June, maybe as late as July, I think that is where I am honed in on. That is where I am honed in on. So what I would love to see is I would love to see a nice bullish close for September, set us up for some strong price action in the fourth quarter, get us up to that $40,000 range. Maybe we touch 50, okay? That sets us up for a beautiful first half of 2024. Remember, there is no way, in my opinion, there is no way going into an election year that the Democrats are going to allow the stock market to fall apart. I have been speaking to these major indices in the DXY on this channel for a long time. And I've indicated that we've had this monumental rise up and all we've done is pull back. We have not invalidated any structure in those charts that leaves me feeling like we're going to see some massive plummet in the stock market. That stuff will occur at a point in time when fewest people anticipate it. Again, I go back to the prior commentary that I made. If everyone anticipated the moves that you'd want to see in the stock market based on Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, if everyone believed that to be true and it really worked out that way, that's how it worked out, then all of the whales would be incorrect, and all of us not us, not you and I, but all of the people in the herd believing that would be the most successful financially, and that's clearly not the case. I think there was a question or two in here we can take a look at. Actually, real quick before we do that, a couple charts to hit on. Caspa, for all my Caspa fans out there, for everybody who is in the Caspa community, you can see right now, 2-day charts, one that I've been hitting on, momentum slowing down. I put out a video, is Caspa fading? By the way, I don't think it is whatsoever. Especially if momentum picks up in the chart, this thing's going to pick up. But I just like to point you to one main chart that I finished last video with. This is the Caspa BTC chart, okay? Until this chart breaks, this is a beautiful stair-step function. Can we just go back in the history of time and evaluate this real quick? Look at this. Do I need to draw this out for you? Okay? Until this changes, this is all I see in the chart. So especially one of the things I pointed out in a video, which is the reason that I have this off to the right, if we have a bullish fourth quarter, like hopefully September does portray, this chart tells us that Caspa is going to outpace Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin at $27,000 makes a 50% move, 60% move and goes up to, rough math, this is on the spot, 60% move from $27,000. That's 42 plus 12, 16.2. It's 43.12. You see that right there? 43,200. This is what I'm good at. All right. There's certain things I'm not good at, but when it comes to this shit, I'm good. All right. 43,200. Well, if Bitcoin makes a 60% move up to 43,200. I've clearly laid out here if we reach the top of this ascending channel here where Caspa would be, right? It's going to be significantly higher. It's going to outpace Bitcoin. So we'll have to see if that comes fruition. Wanted to give everyone an update on XDC. It's funny, this chart has literally worked out to a T so far. I just sketched this out and tweeted it out, but these were my rough expectations for all of you XDC holders. And as you can see, this wick here touched or barely missed my golden buy zone opportunity here at 4.64 cents. Okay, we hit 4.66 cents. Okay, and I had 4.64 cents. All right, but bottom line is, based on current price action and where the market's at, we may have bottomed here. We may get one last wick in here. We may have bottomed, and we may just continue working our way up here. We may have bottomed in XDC. But this ultimately did technically miss by 2/10 of a cent? It missed by 2/10 of 1 cent, my golden buy zone opportunity. But in generalities here, this chart has worked out perfectly. So good to see. What else we got? Let me get to I know what I wanted to do. I want to get to the DXY, and then I'm going to jump into your questions here. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the live stream. I have a little bit of things I need to work on, so we're going to end the live stream probably in about, I'm going to aim to leave this live stream in about 15, 20 minutes tops. So feel free to drop your questions in the comments here. And again, keep in mind, I'll be here tomorrow. Look what's going on with the DXY. Didn't even see this here. Now, I did not draw this line here. You see this? I'm going to color code this differently. Look at this red line here that I'm going to color code orange. This isn't by chance. I didn't come on here and just plot this because we wicked up to there. If you go back in time, why did I put this here? Well, you can see clearly. Is this the line? Wait, let me make sure I have the right line. Yeah, that is the line. You can clearly see, sorry, I'm losing, there's so many damn lines here, sorry. The orange line, you can see there's a wick here, a wick here, a wick here, candle body, candle body. So that's how I drew that area of price confluence. And as you can see, we wicked perfectly up to it at 106.9. Now keep in mind, what have I told you guys if you've been here? DXY, in my opinion, would most likely top in the 105 to 106 range. And I said to you, don't be the person that comes on the live stream and says, the DXY got up to 106.4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. Oh, you're wrong. No, the 105, 106 range. Maybe we hit higher than 106. We go up to 106.89. Maybe we hit 107, which we got close to. But the whole point is, what I had targeted was this relative zone that we would top out at, right? And look where we're at. Now, it's entirely possible that the DXY could have a little bit of a sell-off and make one more final push, right? I did see that Tony, the BTC Bull, had tweeted something out. If I can quickly find it here, kind of coincided with my thoughts here. But he did say if this did make some sort of an expanded flat correction here, the full retracement up would take it closer to 109, okay? And I've spoken to 108. So maybe we go a little bit higher, but the point in what I'm saying here is this thing is near topping. If it hasn't topped out, which I did say yesterday, I believe I worded it in this way, I was If we are topping, you would see it over the next couple weeks. I did say that. It would be very evident in the next couple weeks we top. But I was heavily leaning towards the fact that we've topped in DXY. If we go a little bit higher, we go a little bit higher. But I've leaned towards the idea that we've topped in the dollar index. Because keep in mind, this is a parabola. This coincided with an inverse relationship in equity markets and crypto. As the DXY was going parabolic, crypto had a massive correction. CBG's portfolio went from a fleet of Lambos to a fleet of Geo Metros, okay? Not a fun time, okay? You ever seen the South Park episode, you got a pizza or French fry? You know, you gotta make sure you pizza to slow down. Pizza or French fry, or you're not gonna have a good time, all right? I don't know if anybody gets that reference. This was our parabola. We're still in a correction, okay? Maybe we've gone a little higher than some people expected, but I've been telling you for weeks. I've been telling you guys for weeks if you've been tuning in. You hear all the conjecture on your popular Twitter spaces, your YouTube channels, the dollar's going parabolic. No, it's not. It's called people putting thumbnails together looking like this to make you want to click on their videos. I've said this over and over and over again, and there wasn't anything going on in the price action in the DXY that had me overly concerned, right? Now, what did I say to you? If we push above 108 and we get candle body closes up there, we need to reevaluate the chart, right? We're nowhere near that at this point. As you can see, we have a nice long wick there. If we happen to come in even a little red tomorrow, I would love to see this chart close on a weekly under 106. Okay, that would be beautiful. But the longer the wick here, okay, if we have one more day's worth of price action on the weekly. The longer the wick here, the more buyer exhaustion and the more sellers stepped in, okay? Don't be fooled. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't chart the dollar index, the DXY, the same way that you chart anything else. People that are either novices or people that don't do technical analysis will say that you can't look at this chart in the same way that you would look at Bitcoin. That's called bullshit, and that's called stupidity, quite frankly. You can chart the DXY just like you chart anything else, okay? So the higher the wick here, the more buyer exhaustion and the more sellers stepped in, right? We want a nice long wick here because, again, we have that inverse relationship with equity markets and Bitcoin. Let's, in crypto, let's get into the comments, and I want to see what you would like me to chart out. No, track, I do not. Bitcoin is not decoupling from the DXY. Remember, it's the general relationship between the DXY and crypto and Bitcoin and equity markets. The DXY could be going down and equities and crypto could be going down. The DXY could be going up and crypto could be going up on the same day. It's the general relationship when you zoom out and look at higher time frames. Nothing is decoupling. I don't see anything that says it's decoupling. $50,000 by end of year. If Bitcoin closed the year, if we closed the year up at $50,000, that would exceed my expectations. I think realistically, to close the year this year, if we could get the end of the year this year, it's a good question. I haven't thought a lot about this, but if you pressed me right now to come up with a number, I would say the highest expectation I could have would be right in this zone, 43 to 48. So if we close the year up here at 43 to 48, that is very bullish to start the year next year. If we close up in this range between 48 and 52, that would exceed my expectations. Hey, look, I'm all for it. I'm just being honest and telling you that would exceed my expectations at this point. I'd like to see a close more up towards, realistically, if we got a 43 to 48, that would be a monumentally bullish close for the year. And we'll evaluate. By the way, that made me think. We're not only going to have a monthly close, okay, we're also going to have a quarterly close. So a 3-month candlestick will be closing on Bitcoin. You know, sometimes I have to sit back and laugh at myself. It's the things I get excited about, right? Talking about charts, talking about candlesticks, talking about time frames. All this stuff excites me. I have to laugh a little bit, laugh at myself. We did take a lot of TA questions in the past day or two. What other questions do we have? I thought there was at least one question in here. We're running up against the clock, so get your questions in, please, if you'd like me to help you guys out. I'm going to tell Jim that's his battle cry. You should have heard his wife. His wife was on him. But he needs to listen to her. You know, men, the problem with most men, and I'm not excluding myself from this conversation, by the way. I fully recognize it. The problem with most men is that they're highly stubborn, very stubborn. And the best thing you can do in life, and I recognize this, but it's literally sometimes hard to accept. The best thing you can do in life is if you acknowledge you have someone by your side who's a strong person, they're loving, they love you, you got to listen to that person. Because you're so fucking stubborn. And sometimes you just need to like lighten up and just realize like you can't conquer the world every day. You got to like lay off the gas pedal. Found out Jim was doing a lot of pulling shrubs and doing all this stuff out in the heat, Florida heat. Decided to go in and work out and didn't give himself a couple days off. Probably not a good idea for a 68-year-old guy, right? He was older than I thought, too. I thought he was in his young 60s. I thought he was more around 62. Dude's 68. He's going to be 69 soon. His birthday's coming up. Yes, I do have a charting question. Let's all go. I didn't see that. Let's all go over to Carlos's house. Yeah. Want to reiterate one last time that there will never be any sort of partnership or no, that's not who I was talking about with Ben Armstrong. That would never happen. They say never. That I feel very confident in saying never. I'm not going to take a shit on anyone, but I'll just leave that statement at that. Sometimes you need to introduce a thing called common sense. So I don't think he would be the best person to do a partnership with or collaborate with. I don't think so. I know I come out here very animated. There's a difference between being animated and then literally... Actually, I'm going to bite my tongue and not say what I was about to say. All right. This is comp on Binance. This is a weekly chart. With the rest of the market here, a little bit of upside that we're seeing. Starting to see this MACD begin to curl up. Histogram is lightening up on the red, which is good. Looks like we're going to get a cross on the stochastic. Now that I like to see. Not only does it look like if we can close the week bullish, we'll get a positive cross on stochastic RSI, but we're above 20. That 20 trigger line is critical. It's not just a positive cross, it's being above 20. RSI is also sloping up and we're at 51. So momentum is beginning to pick up in this thing. Now, let's take a look at price action because price action is king. First thing I want to point out, very first obvious thing, look at this downward resistance. You see the downward resistance? We've since broken out of that, and now we're just sort of consolidating, right? So the question that you have to ask yourself, since we've broken out from descending resistance, what have we done since then? Well, we created a low, a high, and a higher low. We're waiting for that higher high to come in. Let's take this out. Also, as we begin to come higher in price, we want to ultimately take out the lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Those are those basic building blocks that we're going to develop within this chart to that bullish narrative, right? The higher highs and higher lows. Now, let's first take a look at the areas of support. You can see right here, green is for support, red's resistance. You can see essentially what we did here. Okay? Now, I know for all of you that are unfamiliar with prior commentary that I've made, a double bottom is not where prices get to the exact same price level. They fall relatively within the same price level. This is double bottom. We hit 26.20. And, 23. No, maybe I want to walk that back. Wait, let me think about this for a moment. This is live, right? Let me think about this for a moment. This is 23.27, 26.20. So that's like 5%. No, that's closer to 10%. I would still argue this is a double bottom. You could. This is a little bit. Someone could say we formed a lower low here relative to here. I would be in the camp this is still a double bottom, especially when I visually depict this. When I look at this, this looks close enough to me to say a double bottom. The prices don't need to be exact, all right? So I want this roughly 26.14 to hold. If we lose 26.14, by the way, Definitively, I don't want to take out the all-time low, which is at 23.27. Now, the reason I don't want to take out 23.27, at this point, everybody here should be able to guess this. If I look left, there's white space. There's nothing to the left here. So we could go, if we take out 23.27, we could go down to 23.26. We could go down to $3.60. I can't say definitively because there's no, well, I can never say definitively, but I can't give you any probabilistic view on that thing because there's no price data. That's why. Now, let's look at another area of support because price is all the way up there, which is great to see if you're in this project. I would put an area of support right around there, 29.90, all right? And actually, what I'd like to do, because you know on this channel I like to keep things super simple, and I don't like to pretend like I'm smarter than I am. $30, all right? $30, 26, and 23.27. Now, and there could actually be one more area of support. I apologize. Right about there. I'd say right about there. I actually like that. $36.50. Okay? So we have several areas of price confluence here. We got $36.50, we got $30, 26, and 23.27. 26, 30. How about areas of, one of the things I would actually draw here, areas of resistance is what I was going to say. I would actually draw a descending resistance here. You're going to notice some strength is coming into the chart as we start to break up and break this descending resistance, right? I like to draw in, even if it's a more of a lower time frame area of resistance. This is still downward resistance since July, all right? So for several weeks, I still want to draw this, okay? So I would have that. And then in terms of areas of resistance, this chart looks pretty clean. Something like this is pretty easy to chart. DJ, how is fatherhood going? How is fatherhood going for you? Are you enjoying being a father? 85.90. And where the hell's Jorge at? 85.90. 85.90. Obviously, because this was the bounce high here. Obviously, there's plenty of other areas of resistance here that are pretty easy to chart, actually. I love this area, $7.50, $70.50. Welcome in, Evan. Welcome in. Phoenix AVS, I have no idea what that means. But yes, you should press the play button and tune into CBG every single week, every single day for that fact. I mean, how could you live without my technical analysis? Got an area right around there. So we got $85.90, $70.50, and basically like $64. All right. Other areas, yeah, right about there. 53. All right, so here are your areas of resistance. I apologize. I honestly forget who asked this question. Was it Oof? I forget. Too many comments, which is a good thing. There's higher engagement because we see a little bit of green in the market. Thank Jesus. $53, descending resistance. 64, $70.50, and 85.90. These are your zones right here, right? If I was in this thing and looking to establish a position, I certainly wouldn't be buying here. I'd wait for a pullback. You never want to buy in. You never want to, they say FOMO. You never want to buy into strength. You want to buy into weakness. You want to allow that trend to come to you, right? You don't want to chase after the girl. You want the girl to come to you, all right? Why do I always relate this to? No, really, you don't want to chase after this thing. You don't want to be buying this thing as it's running up. You want to allow it to come down, right? I mean, I can give you one more area of support, depending how aggressive you want to be with your buys here. I could give you one more area of support right there, although that to me is being a little too aggressive. I might put something right around there. I like that. So there's one more area of support. So if I wanted to buy comp, if I was looking to get in, My first buy zone would be somewhere between $42 and $36.50. And if we drop below $36.50, I would buy much more aggressive as it started to go towards $30 if it went that low, okay? So I would start to buy, this is a little aggressive at 42 bucks. I'd want it to come down a little bit more personally, but this would be my buy area. This would be my primary buy area for comp, okay? Hopefully that was helpful. Easy to troubleshoot problems with the baby. I like that coming from a techie guy. I like that. Food, dirty diapers, and gas. I like that. We all have problems. Well, let's face it. We never outgrow the problems with gas, right? You eat the wrong thing, not going to have a good time, all right? I mean, I eat very clean, and still, sometimes those Brussels sprouts or broccoli, not going to have a good time. Glad I'm sleeping solo. Although really that's a rare occurrence, I should say, actually, thankfully. Feeding every 3 hours. Well, hopefully you have a strong woman in your life helping out as well. I hope so. That would be very hard to do if it was just one person. I think raising a child alone is a very... it's an intimidating thought because the sense of responsibility, you have the largest amount of responsibility you could ever have in your life. You have to be a role model. You got to raise that child in the right way. That's too hard, in my opinion, to do for one person. You need two people working together to figure that thing out. CBG bigger than most of the NFL. You're fucking right. All right, got the rare flex in there. All right. You can follow me on Instagram for more flexes. You could throw a fib. The Brussels will do it every time. You could throw a fib from 85 to 34 to get extra technical. Yeah, we could. I mean, no. You said from 85 to 34. No, I would throw. I'm not sure why you're saying 34 actually. I'm not sure why you're saying 34. If I had to throw a fib in here, I would show a retracement from this 23.28 upward towards this 86 area. That's what I would be targeting. And actually, we did hit the 0.618 and went below it. We hit the 702, let's say. 786 is at 30. So many times these things like to come and retrace to these levels here, which would be at 31 bucks, which does coincide with 30. This is close enough, 30 and 30.82. Love your videos on... I can't read the comment because... Love your videos on Caspa CBG. Why, thank you. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, Bianca. Bianca is new to the live stream, apparently. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, when I was on my call earlier today with whoever I was on my call with, they actually, we were evaluating some things based on their platform, and they actually happened to bring up Caspa, and I said, ooh, Caspa. I am a very large holder of Caspa at this point, so huge believer in that project. Extremely excited. Below the candle. Yeah, so I don't know if this is what you're alluding to. One of the things you could do, if you wanted to enter a trade position, first off, if I entered a trade position on this, I would not be buying at these levels, actually. I would be waiting for this thing to come back to me in the areas I spoke to. But if based upon my position, I ultimately established I wanted to buy at this 36.50 level, I would set in a stop right below. I'll show you where I would. You want to talk some trading? Let's talk a little bit of trading. We don't really trade on this channel, but let's talk trading. Let's put in this gray line. This is what I would do. I'd put in a gray dotted line. That's how I operate. Okay. Let's get into some trading. So this bottom here is at 34.87. Okay. So this is at 34.87. Okay. So as you can see, actually, I don't want to make that dotted. This is the low that we've printed. What was this? 35.05. So The way I would enter this trade, let me explain this to you. We came all the way up here to 85.90, right? Roughly 85.90, wherever the hell this is. We retraced all the way to our low point here at 34.87. So I would base my trade saying, well, I want to base the trade on the fact that 34.87 is the lowest point that we're going to reach. And if we start to go below there, that's where I want to get out. Because if we break 34.87, we could drop all the way down to 30 or 26 or 23, who knows, right? So what I would do is I would allow this thing to come back to me all the way down here towards, say, 36.50. Now, if I entered at 36.50, okay, and let's say I entered a stop loss, you do not want to put in a stop loss at 34.87 because you could double bottom, all right? I would enter a stop loss at, say, 34.78, okay? 34.78, so it's slightly below that line there. Let me take out the gray line because that's starting to get confusing, okay? So I'd enter at 34.78. I would get in at 36.50. So what that means is if we entered it that way, I would have approximately 5% downside. But on the upside, the risk to reward, that's what you have to ask yourself. If you're just swing trading, if that's what you like to do, your risk to reward, in my opinion, based on the little, I don't do a lot of swing trading. I don't. I told you guys, most of my portfolio is invested. But I want to know I have at least a 3-to-1 risk to reward to risk ratio is how to really word it. But I like ones that are really 4-to-1, okay? So the question is, from here, can I at least go up 20%? Yes. If you're going up to here, you have a monumental risk to reward relationship. You can start to scale out here to our red area of resistance at 53, okay, $53, and start to scale out more as we hit this descending resistance here. That's how I would play that trade. So I might sell. Here's how I would do it. I would sell maybe if we bounced, I'd sell a third here. I'd sell a third as we got into descending resistance, and I'd let the rest ride, and I'd put in a trailing stop loss. I'd just keep raising the trailing stop loss such that when eventually it would bounce and hit here and I'd sell out. That's how I would do that trade. But again, we don't really focus on trades on this channel. Maybe at some point down the road I'll do a little bit more of a trading view on things, but I don't really like to. Tight stop loss, you better believe it, brother. That's conservative. You better believe it. Yeah, I mean, that's how I operate. It's all about the risk to reward ratio. And again, if you're putting a smaller amount in here and you want to be less risk adverse, maybe you set your stop loss. Again, 36.50. Maybe you set your stop loss. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. 34.87. Maybe you set your stop loss all the way down at $33.97. Again, you don't want to pick an even level of like $34. Maybe $33.97. But again, I would set a tight stop loss. Because again, with trading, it's not about how many times you win or lose. It's all about how you curb that risk, right? You got to have a good risk control strategy. Let's say you have 10 trades. You want to be some sort of a swing trader, right? You got 10 trades going on. I don't care if I lose 7 of the trades or 6 of the trades. If those 3 or 4 are medium to large size wins, it wipes out all the losses I had on the stop losses, and those gains far outpace any losses from those minimal losses that I took, right? The gains far outpace those minimal losses. That's how you need to look at it. It's not on here's another way to put it. When you're trading, it's not on a count basis. Well, I had 100 trades, right? You shouldn't look at it, well, did you have 51 more successful trades where you made a gain versus 49 losses? No, who the hell cares about that? Don't look at it on a count basis. Look at it as basically a volume weighted average basis. I could have won 30 of those 100 trades, but the 70 I lost, that's a pretty extreme example. Maybe I won 35. I won 35 of the trades and lost 65, but 65 resulted in small losses, and those 35s netted out to large gains, and it completely wiped that out, and I made a lot of money. All right, that's how you have to look at it. Brendan, greetings from Havana. I have not heard from you, Brendan, in a long time. It's good to see you on the live stream, my friend. Mike Team, what about Digibyte? Yes. Digibyte, I just spoke to this yesterday, actually, Evan. Did you watch the live stream yesterday? Depending on the monthly close on Digibyte, I may put a video out. But again, I want something material to show up in the chart. I'm not just going to put out a chart on a crypto project to put a chart out. I want you guys, at the end of the day, I want you to come to this channel and feel like, wow, CBG puts out value-added content. When he publishes a video, there's a purpose behind it. He's not doing it just to get views and clicks and all that bullshit. So, if there is something material on the monthly close, which I'm monitoring on Digibyte, which I am monitoring at this point, it looks like we might have something significant. Yes, I will get a video out on Digibyte, which will be out. If it does occur, it'll be out as early as next week, as late as the following week. Let's see what we got. It looks like a good area for risk. I would just wait for it to come back to me. Guys, I'm pressed up against time. I've gone about a good 15 minutes longer than I wanted to. So, look, I appreciate everyone tuning in. There is a reason to be optimistic. You can see the way the daily is closing right now. Let's get that 26,870 close. What did I say? 26,870 close on Bitcoin. If we get that 26,870 close on Bitcoin, I'll be right back here with you tomorrow. I'll be right back here with you tomorrow no matter what. We want to see 2680 tomorrow, right? We want that secondary candle as confirmation. We have broken descending resistance. Then you know what I'm going to say. Onward and upward. We got to break this 200 simple moving average at 27,900. It's basically 28,000, right? $28,000 is such a significant level that I've been hitting on this channel for a long time. 28.2, 28.3, 28, whatever you're talking about, $28,000 is a significant level, all right? Everyone take care of yourself. Say a little bit of a, if it is your thing, say a little prayer for Jim that his health continues improving. And until next time, which is tomorrow, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everybody.